Sure. So if you think about what so far has been the most successful tokenized asset, is probably the dollar, right? So if you look at stable coins, they are like around $200 billion now, and there's a proliferation of stablecoin projects that essentially is a tokenized dollar. It's a token that represents a dollar that is kept in some reserve to guarantee that the token has the underlying value of the dollar. So if you look at traditional finance, people don't actually use dollars necessarily to move money around. They use treasuries, because treasuries, their obligations to the US government, which is also the one that issues the dollar. So essentially they are kind of like equivalent from a risk perspective, but they have a yield because they are a debt obligation, right? So treasuries give you a yield, which at this point is like around 4.5%, but was higher a few months ago. And therefore, the natural next large asset that should be tokenized are treasuries, right? So that's the project we're doing with BlackRock. It's a tokenized treasuries fund that contains short-term dated treasuries and repo agreements, and that gives the yield in a transparent way back to the investor in the product and the holder of the token. Of course, as opposed to stable coins, these tokens, because they represent units on a fund, they are securities. So they have different characteristics. They are permissions. So we have to whitelist wallets. We have to onboard investors and pass through KYB to make sure we comply with regulations. We have to control how they transfer on chain. And when we issue them in multiple chains, we also have to control how they move across chains, as opposed to, let's say, digital assets that maybe don't have those characteristics. They are permissionless. You don't need to control who holds them, etc.